it's Teresa here again from Legacy Counseling Center. Hope you all had a great weekend and your week is off to a good start. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about supporting someone with mental health challenges. So it's pretty likely that most of us are connected to someone in our life who is struggling with mental health concerns. And some people are probably in a direct caregiving role or a direct support role, whether it's a loved one, a close friend, a family member, a spouse, or even a child who we love who might be struggling with mental health challenges. So I just wanted to provide some very practical tips and suggestions on ways that you can support your loved one when they're going through a mental health challenge, but also to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. So I'm just going to run down through some very basic tips. The first one that I think is a top priority when we're caring for someone who is going through mental health issues is to take care of yourself. Make sure that you have a good support system, because it's going to take, a lot of care and compassion and a lot of patience on your behalf to care for someone or to support someone who's struggling with mental health. And another important thing to note under caring for yourself is that when someone is struggling with mental health concerns, it's likely that they can be difficult, sometimes harsh, mean even, and it can be really hurtful. It can be really personal to you. But it's really important to remember that it's very likely this person is not trying to hurt you, that they're struggling and they are really having a difficult time, and you're that close person to them, so you're gonna receive some of that really difficult stuff. But really try not to take it personally, even though it's really hard not to take it personally, but remembering that it's most likely this person's not trying to hurt me, and separating yourself from that. And that's where having your own support system comes in. People you can vent to, talk to, trust with what's going on for you, because it can impact you directly. The second thing is to take time to educate yourself. There is so much information in the media, online, everywhere you look, about mental health. And it's wonderful that you can just click your mouse on your computer or scroll through your phone and find really, really good resources. We just have to be careful that you're not getting your, information from bad sources, essentially. That could be Facebook or just social outlets. It's important to know you're getting it from credible resources like, Canadian Mental Health or different organizations that specialize in mental health. There's actually really great training that anyone in our communities can take, anyone who just wants to learn more or could be connected with someone who has mental health struggles, and that is the Mental Health First Aid and ASSIST, which is suicide prevention. Both of these are fantastic resources for anyone who, like I said, wants to know more, to be, stronger in this area, to be able to support a loved one or a friend, or even for your workplace. It's important, if you're going to be supporting someone who has mental health challenges, that you know what to look for, the symptoms, and you need to know when, okay, this is outside of what I can do. You need to know what to look for, essentially, when to get help outside of yourself for this person. The next thing is, don't be afraid to ask the really hard questions. And this is something that, even working in the field, it can be so hard sometimes to ask someone, about hard things, about their mental health. It can be very personal. Some of it can seem frightening and scary, such as suicide. Those are really, really hard topics to address with someone. But our own fear can sometimes get in the way of asking those really hard questions, and we're worried it's going to be uncomfortable. What if it makes them worse? What if it puts that idea in their mind? But the reality is, if you feel it in your gut that this person is struggling, they probably are struggling, and you asking is not going to make it worse. It's going to show that, hey, I care about you, I'm noticing this. I want to be here for you. And if it's not received well, well, you didn't lose anything by trying and asking. But by not asking and just kind of keeping it quiet, you could actually be missing an opportunity to help that person when they desperately need it. So along with asking the hard questions, asking if they're struggling, if they're safe, if they're going to be okay, is also asking, how can I help you? How can I support you? What can I do differently? What can I do to essentially come side by side with you and, let them be that expert. Let them tell you what they need. And if they're struggling to find words or saying, no, I don't need any help, we have to respect people, but we can also make suggestions like, would it be helpful if I called you daily to check in? Would it be helpful if I drove you to an appointment or if I went to an appointment with you? Sometimes just giving them the option of saying, hey, I'm willing to do whatever you need, can help that person see that you're serious and they're not afraid then to ask or accept the help that you're giving. Another really important thing when dealing with someone who's struggling, because sometimes our loved ones can be really, really going through a rough time, is to try really hard not to be confrontational. When someone is heightened in their anxiety or they're really struggling with depression, it's not going to be helpful to get into a confrontation with them. It's just going to make matters worse. So just try to be calm and loving in your approach and gentle, and try not to assume that you always know what's best, because this person may have been dealing with this all of their life or may be very new, but at the end of the day, they're the ones who know how they feel. They are the ones who are struggling. So it's really important not to presume that you know what's best for them. So be a partner, be an ally, but try not to tell them exactly what they need to do. And the last one is, if you feel that, wow, this is outside of what I'm comfortable with, this is outside of what I can do as a family member or a friend, I'm not sure if they're going to be safe, I don't know where to go from here, then that's a really good sign that it's time to reach out to someone. And if that person can't or won't reach out, then you can reach out and into the community, to supports around you, such as a doctor, a therapist, and ask the questions of, hey, what do I do from here? My friend, my family member is struggling, I'm worried about them, I don't know what to do. And if it's a crisis in the moment and you're struggling and you don't know how to help someone, there are services out there like mental health crisis lines and the hospital where that acute services in the moment can be offered. Because at the end of the day, we're a loved one, we're a family member. We don't always know exactly what to do when it's very serious and we need help. So don't be afraid to reach out and get that help for you and for them, because that could mean the difference of their life and saving their life. Is so important to be aware of what's in your community to help you. So I hope these few tips can really be practical, because I know many of us are in situations where we're supporting and loving people who are struggling with mental health. But just have the conversations, open it up and talk about it. It will benefit you and them in the long run.